Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're a new subscriber, you have made the best decision of your life, because why would you not want to come to this lovely place? So, as you can tell by the title, today I have a guest on my channel, the one and only older sister of mine. And today we decided to do a chit chat just for my audience. Basically, I realized that I don't really have a lot of insight as to what happens in varsity, and I just wanted her to come sit down with us and talk about her journey from high school into varsity and after varsity. And yeah, that's basically it. So please introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Ms. Pogo. As she has already said, I'm her sister, and my Instagram handle is at schabinkie, and LinkedIn is Ms. Pogo. Twitter is at schabinkie too.
Okay. So, um, I said the reason there.
Mustn't I say what I do?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so basically I graduated last year in BA Psychology and Sociology. I'm currently working at a research and marketing company. At the same time, I'm corresponding with UNISA doing my honors in psychology.
So, the first thing that we're gonna touch on is her life during high school. So, when you were in school, and basically, let's combine grade 11 and 12 as one thing
Okay.
because it's more or less the same. So, when you were in grade 11 and 12, what were your emotions? What were you deceived into thinking? Because I know most of the time when you're in grade 11, they're like, no, grade 11 is the most important year of the your high school career. You need to focus on grade 11 the most, and all those things. What also were your emotions going through those very stressful times?
All right, so that is very true. A lot of people deceive you into thinking that your grade 11 is the most important year. I'm not going to lie, it is. But if that was the case, why don't the university just accept you with your grade 11 results and they wait for your matric? So a lot of people actually do great in grade 11. They get distinctions left, right, center. They get to matric and then shoo, because what you find a lot of people do is grade 11 all distinctions, and then they get provisionally accepted into a varsity with their grade 12 marks. None of that is actually possible, and they're like, sorry, we can't offer you a space. So I think that's also one thing that people are deceived into thinking, and I was also deceived into thinking, because I was like, I actually put myself under a lot of pressure because my grade 11 results were bad, and bad as in I got like a 23% for maths final mark, and I actually thought that, I guess, what's wrong?
Final. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, a lot of people don't know. I don't speak about it, but hey, I put myself under that pressure that I can't go to varsity because of that. But that all changed because I think that's when I like became very strong, and I had to apply myself. You know how people say you must apply yourself? I started applying myself and asking myself, like, what do I really want? Is this 23% going to define who I am? And I'm actually not a 23%. I'm a distinction type. I'm a multimillionaire, but either way, yeah. So my emotions during the 2 years especially was very hectic because, all right. So the emotions that were involved during the 2 years, like grade 11 and matric, was very hectic because you tend to compare yourself a lot. You tend to ask yourself, am I really the best? and maybe if I didn't sleep at this time and I studied that chapter, I was not going to be here. So it's really very stressful and daunting, because you tend to just compare yourself, which is very unhealthy, because what happens when you get to varsity and you already have those, let's say you get those distinction marks and you get to varsity and you're like, but emotionally I am not happy. You don't know who you are. That's also another problem. So yeah, no, it was very hectic.
So, like, when you now it's time to apply, right? When you're in Matric, how was it? What were the things that you were going through? Because I know, for one, application, like, now is application season, even though we have this whole COVID-19 thing going on. I, for one, know that applications are not easy, especially because I went through the most in grade 11 and I didn't necessarily achieve all of the things that I wanted to achieve. So when I applied, and some of the universities, we will not mention their names, but some of the universities that I was applying to were like, you don't qualify for this course, you don't do this, you don't. And I was just like, why? Like, are you denying me? So were you also going through those emotions? Because I know I was.
Yeah, no, the emotions of applying. So since I changed from maths to maths lit, right, I had to also change career paths. So I wanted to be a forensic pathologist, which needed like sky high marks for maths. And now with me having to change, I had to also change the varsities that I wanted to go to, basically. So truly speaking, I was not in the mood to apply. Like, I know that people say you must apply, you must apply, you must apply, but I think Matric is very stressful.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say with this whole COVID-19 you guys are lucky, but like sometimes you get to a point where you're just moving. By the time you wake up, it's already June. And yes, I did apply. I applied to like 2 universities because I just thought that I'm gonna be taken. But wow, I think as she's like spoke about like the emotions of being rejected even before you get your final results because of your grade 11 results was very painful, because it's just like, I am being bottled, or I am being put in this category of failure for the rest of my life because of grade 11 results. And sometimes you don't know what's happening in grade 11, you know. So I just applied, but I knew, because I am down there, okay, this, I think what they tried doing now is they already tell you that you do not qualify. So I didn't know that I don't qualify, because I was like, let's move, we will see.
Please.
So the emotions of getting the letters from the universities that I was not accepted, it was, I kind of knew, I was waiting for it, but I was like, no, let's hope for the best. Yeah.
So, after applying and the letters came back and they were like, you're not going to varsity, how did you then help yourself get up and move forward? Because eventually you did go to varsity. What did you do after getting those letters that you weren't accepted? Because I, for one, believe that after grade 11, honestly, if your grade 11 year was horrible, it's kind of hard to pick yourself up, because then you now thinking that, damn, I'm applying with these marks, most probably not going to get accepted into the course that I want to study, most probably not even going to go to varsity. What's going to happen, you know? So how did you pick yourself up? Because that was some type of failure to you, you know, because it wasn't like the best thing that you could have done. Like, it's not what you actually wanted to achieve. So what happened after that?
All right. So after grade 11 and matric, right, with all the results, so I was fortunate enough that during my matric I moved to stay with an aunt of mine. So during the course of staying with her, we had like a heart to heart, because I was kind of scared of my parents and to tell them that I'm actually not coping. So I told her that I actually wanted to upgrade, because they didn't understand what was the problem, because you know how black parents say you have everything, why are you not passing? You have everything, why are you depressed? So I told her that I wanted to go and upgrade, and she actually supported me. We got information about where to upgrade, why to upgrade, and what is needed. So she was like to me, okay, let's just let the whole examination pass, like the prelims pass the period, and then I'll talk to your parents. And one weekend, I just received a call from my parents saying that they wanted to talk to me. So I was like, okay, I wonder what is it about. And then they asked me, so what is your plan? And I'm like, oh, so I actually want to go and upgrade. And they're like, why didn't you say from the beginning? And I'm like, because you guys have been putting me on a pedestal, which is what a lot of parents are doing. And it's very dangerous because you lose yourself within the process. So what I did was, fast forward after Matric, I actually went to go and upgrade at I think it's a feeder high school of it called Star School. And I think that's all, that also helped because I kind of knew the failure and I felt the failure in high school. So when I went there, I had a different perspective of I need to push. Now I'm given a second chance, and why not? Why not give it my all? It's not gonna hurt anyone. I'm not going to die.
So basically, facing failure right in front of you kind of gave you that motivation to move forward. Because I also feel like after grade 11, I just had to face failure and I had to look at it dead as in the eye, and I had to be like, you know what? You and me aren't going to be friends anymore. It's all over. So after high school and upgrading, what was like the transition? Because now you had to go into varsity after upgrading and all those things. Basically, how was your life in varsity after those trials and tribulations that you faced?
All right, so before I went to varsity, right, I worked. So I took 2 years gap year, and I think that also helped me into understanding who am I and what I really want. So the working experience helped me with my varsity life, because you know when you are working, I don't know, for majority of you guys that are either working or going to work next year, you are given responsibilities here at home to buy groceries, to pay this, to do that, to do that. So when you get to varsity, it's like, okay, now you are alone, so what do I do? So the 2 year gap years that I took and the working experience actually helped me to understand that firstly, there are tens and thousands and whatever thousands of people that are applying, but you are the fortunate one to be accepted. So firstly, you must not take that for granted, that you are accepted into varsity. Don't get there and want to be bigger than your books or bigger than your shoes. No, just be very humbled and understand that I am here for a purpose. I need to be here for 3 years or whatever years that I'm here for, and I need to make the most out of it, because there's a child out there that didn't make it because of me. And then secondly, it was also the whole transition of, do I study because of I want to study, or do I study because of my parents? And I think when you get to varsity, that is when you have a say, because your parents are not there. And one thing that I actually want to advise you guys on is, do not take a course because of your parents. It's not going to be easy. Like, for example, I did a course, a BA in psychology and sociology. So I think I was excited because of the 2 years that I took, because everyone now is like looking at me, not looking as in a sense of putting pressure, but looking at, you took 2 years, you are in varsity, like I'm motivating someone back at home. So yeah, that was something else.
So academics in varsity, were they better than they were in high school? Because remember how you're saying that a lot of people in high school who get distinctions, when they get to varsity, they are humbled to their cores. And then those who are like mediocre in high school get to varsity and they just flourish. So was it a different ball game when you got into varsity?
Okay, so when I got into varsity, right, I think because I enjoyed the course and I did so much research on it. I enjoyed it genuinely, and I enjoyed it more than high school. I'm not going to lie, but I'm not like, there are some modules like, do not get to varsity and feel that you're very stupid, because there are those modules that are going to make you feel like, why did you choose this course? So yes, there are those modules where I felt like but I still like pushed forward. And academics and varsity, I think it's up to how you also look at it. Like, if you really really want this degree, you need to make it work in terms of, if you don't understand, there's YouTube. If you don't understand, there are your lecturers, there are tutors, there are so forth. So those are the resources that I used for me being where I am, because I actually wanted to prove to myself that you got a second chance and you're not a failure. Let's get this degree and pat yourself on the shoulder.
So, the babes is a graduate studying her honors. So, now I want to know that when you now finished your degree, okay, let's talk about your final year, because yeah, it was a very important year, because that determines like where you go afterwards, you know.
Right.
So your final year, and after getting your, well, graduating, and then now you're in a bigger world. Well, varsity is the big world, but like now you're in a bigger world with a whole lot of other graduates and all those things. What is the experience?
Okay, so firstly, my third year was very difficult because I actually, like, this was 1 year where I didn't enjoy everything that I was doing, because you have so much pressure of your research proposals from two modules, because I was doing 2 degrees, you can say. So it was your research proposals, assignments, then you need to apply for honors, then you need to do this. And one thing about my course is, you start off 5,000 students, and come to honors you are like 200, not even 200, no, I'm lying, you are about like 25 or 30 maximum. So you can imagine the pressure that you had. So in my third year, I was trying to, grab on everything, because I'm like, yo, what's going to happen next year? What's going to do this? What's going to do that? But I think I still managed to push. But I think one thing that I picked up was, from my first year to my second year, I was like the distinction girl, because I was enjoying. And it got to a point in third year where I was like,
am I really sure about this?
am I really sure? That's where you start doubting yourself. But I think if you know what you came here for, that's what you'll go back to and be like, you know what, I started this thing because of ABC. And you carry on pushing. So that was my experience for third year. But all in all, I actually enjoyed, because I knew that I was graduating. And yes, due to the corona, I am not going to climb the stage, but hey, the girl is still a graduate. Fast forward, going to honors. So I applied at 9 or 10 universities. Wow, that experience was not the easiest. I'm actually not going to lie, guys, because in high school, right, they tell you that you are going to a bigger world, blah blah blah, but they don't prepare you. That's another thing.
That's true.
You get to varsity, they don't prepare you for the outside world. Because why I say they don't prepare you, you get your books, you go to school, you come back, rest, you do your work. There's not that thing of, guys, let's go to job shadow, let's wake up 9 to 5 or whatever. So the bigger world after now high school, after varsity, sorry, was, what do I do? Even after applying for 9 varsities, with the marks that I got, I actually didn't make it to any traditional university. So I was like, okay, plan B, what is it? And then I applied for UNISA. Hallelujah, they took me. But now the change of everything was, I am used to a traditional,
Lectures,
a traditional university's lecturers, contact, learning. But now this, that,
and you're all on your own.
and you're all on your own. So but I found a way to manage, because I actually know what I want, and my goal is to eventually have my practice. So it's like, girl, we need to keep it moving.
So you said first, like, I'm just touching on failure now.
Right.
It was failure of
Grade 11.
grade 11, right? failure in grade 12 because you didn't go to varsity. Then it was failure that you couldn't get into any institution for your honors. So how did you manage to kind of accept the failure and let it be your kind of like a push to better yourself even more?
Okay, so before we carry on, I don't like using the words of failure because it's like it's something that you do not learn from. So I like using a word of what is it changing my direction into. So yes, with all the things that I've experienced, it had to change my direction. And now with wait, what did you ask? Failure?
Self-acceptance, basically.
Okay, so with all this change of direction, I think it had to start with me, like self-love, happiness, and everything. So I had to actually self-introspect at the end of my varsity year, like third year, and ask myself, am I living for the people? Am I living for batho ba tla reng? Am I living for who is watching? What is my whatever the people say? But I got to a point where I'm like, what does it mean to me and what is on the line? What I mean with that is, what does it mean to me? Is it going to put a smile on my face? Is it going to shape where I am going in the future? If those things and all the other questions that you're asking yourself are yes, and if it's for you and by you, that's all matters. So that's what actually also motivated me, saying that okay, I understand other people are going to speak, other people might not support you or whatever, but self-acceptance, I needed to accept myself, that these are my challenges. That's what actually got me through everything with the self-acceptance too.
So I just want to know your holistic experience of varsity in a nutshell before we wrap up this video.
Okay, a holistic experience.
As in everything, like from relationships to classes to groove to side hustles to everything in one. Just so that we kind of have like an insight, like what was your experience of everything?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the side hustle. As I said, that I used to support myself because I used to like be a tutor, marker, invigilator, whatever that was on the table. I used to do it, but not the bad things. So side hustles,
We don't know.
it is possible to get a job on campus, which many universities actually encourage that. And it actually also helps with your CV, because one thing they look at, which they don't tell us, is when you leave varsity and go to the outside world, they're going to ask you, what were you doing? And it actually helps because now they can see, okay, this was a person doing 8 modules or whatever modules and still managed to do something on the side. So that's the first thing. Side hustles are possible. Just make sure that you find out where to go and what to do, and remember why you're doing it. Secondly, I would also encourage a lot of people, if they cannot get any side hustle jobs or something that is paying on like campus or in varsity, try to volunteer, because a lot of people do not tell you. They actually look at that and they ask themselves, like when you go to the outside world and you start working or you're doing your honors, they ask themselves, what is this person willing to give up? Because if you had to look at a lot of companies, especially if you are being sponsored by a bursary, they're gonna say, why are we sponsoring a person that does not do anything for people? So also volunteering is very good. Relationships in varsity, guys, umgowo uyagowa kwayiwa and one way. But I think sometimes you are fortunate enough to get friends in varsity and a romantic relationship in varsity. I'm guilty of that.
Guilty. You're fortunate.
Oh yeah, I'm fortunate of that. And I think you just need to know who you are and what you are willing to give to the next person, and make sure that your cup is full and overflowing of self-love and whatever you stand for, because it's very pointless to want to give to people and you are not receiving, or your cup is empty. So it is possible, like, I'm not going to lie, as I said, some relationships, like, you will be saying, I'm being taken for the, dude, but you can, like, it is possible. There are people out there, and you might be like shocked that you might find a friend from Eastern Cape or wherever. Like, just enjoy, like, it's very fun. And what else? Classes.
And groove.
Okay, classes and groove. So those two, like, they go hand in hand, but at the same time they're different. Why I say that is, I'm going to start with classes. You might attend 9 to 4, whatever time you attend, and then you forget that, no, I've got a test tomorrow. And one thing about varsity is lecturers, actually, most lecturers, let me not say all, most lecturers do not care. Like, you get there, you sleep, you snore, you do whatever, you attend their class, it does not add anything to their table, because they know at the end of the day you are going to write their test. It's up to you what you do. So just be smart about that. Don't be the person that gets to varsity and not know what to do and now want to go with the flow because everyone is going south. Just know what you came there to do, and if it means that you need to attend every single class and they call you a nerd, rather call you a nerd, babes. Rather call you a nerd, because at the end of the day, when you graduate, they're not gonna say he's a nerd or she's a nerd. They're gonna be like, ha, lucky, yeah, or she's graduating, but they don't understand what you had to give up. So attend classes. I'm not going to lie. Going back to the groove part, it is very important to hustle, to push, but without any fun, without any relaxing. I'm not saying now you must be on your books every single day. No. Have a moment, maybe a Saturday or Sunday, where you're like, okay, I give this for groove. And groove, guys, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying go out clubbing, go out doing this. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. If you prefer going out for picnics, it's good. So just have a balance of everything. That's all I'm going to wrap up with. Have a balance of everything. Your happiness, self-love, own lane and own pace.
So that brings us to the end of our video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I really like this kind of thing with my sister, So if you guys would like to see more of this content, please comment down below. Don't forget to like,
subscribe, and comment down below.
Bye, girl.